Hello everyone. In the last chapter, we talked about the concept and main theories of motivation. In this chapter, we will apply these motivational concepts to practices and focuses on what we can do to structure the work environment so that it's more desirable and more motivated. First, we will start with the job design, which is one of the most important components of human resource management. Job design suggests that the way elements in a job are organized can influence employee effort. The job characteristics model has developed by Richard Heckman and Greg Oldham, assuming that a task is key to the employee's motivation. For example, a boring and monotonous job is disastrous to the employee's motivation. Let's take a look at the diagram of the job characteristics model. This model consists of 3 parts. Part 1 is the 5 core job dimensions, Part 2 is the psychological states, and Part 3 is the 5 work-related outcomes. The 5 core job dimensions include skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback. Skill variety reflects the degree to which a job requires different activities using specialized skills and talents. Compared to individuals working 2 different jobs, Job A is pretty much elementary, with the tasks being performed in a routine and repetitive manner. It does not demand much skill or ability. Job B, on the other hand, is quite complex, requiring that the worker is in possession of several skills or abilities. Which one will have greater chances of experiencing meaningfulness in their jobs? According to the dimension of skill variety, it's an employee working on Job B, as it requires variety in skills. Task identity relates to the degree to which a job requires the completion of a whole and identifiable piece of work. Therefore, it's important to assess whether the job or task has a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end. Workers tend to find more meaning in their jobs when they are identifying a complete and visible outcome at the end of the day or of a work cycle. For example, 2 workers are involved in the same work process. Worker A is responsible for only a small part of the work, probably in the first phase. Worker B, on the other hand, is involved throughout the entire process. Between the 2, Worker B is more likely to find his job meaningful because he can see a visible outcome, and he feels more involved in the completion of the process. A job that employees are able to complete from beginning to end seems more worthwhile than simply working on certain phases of the process, then not having a hand on the rest of the process. In fact, worker A may not even be aware of whether the process has been completed or not, because he is focused on his assigned phase of the process. Task significance reflects the degree to which a job affects the lives or work of other people. A job holds more meaning if it can help improve the well-being of other people. Autonomy refers to the degree to which a job provides the worker freedom. These jobs with a high level of autonomy tend to become more meaningful to those performing them because they feel a greater personal responsibility for their own actions on the job. Feedback relates to the degree to which carrying out work activities generates direct and clear information about your own performance. If employees are told by their supervisors or managers that they are doing a good job, they are likely to feel motivated to continue with how they are doing so far. In contrast, if they are told that they are not performing as expected, then they will respond accordingly and improve their performance. We can combine the core job dimensions into a single predictive index called the Motivating Potential Score, that is the MPS, and its formula is as follows. We can get the three propositions from this formula. First, if all 5 core job characteristics are high, there is a high probability that the worker will experience the 3 psychological states. This will naturally result in positive outcomes. Second, in order for a job to be considered to have high motivating potential, at least one among skill variety, task identity, and task significance should also be high. That is to say, a low score on any one of the 3 does not automatically mean that the job will have low motivating potential, since it could be offset by a high score on any of the other 2. Last but not least, it's given that the job should also be high on both autonomy and feedback. Specifically, a low score on any of the 2 will pull the MPS down. Now, let's take a look at how job characteristics relate to the psychological states. From the diagram of the job characteristics model, we can see that the first 3 job dimensions, skill, variety, task identity, and task significance, combine to create meaningful work. The more of these 3 job characteristics present, the more an employee will be able to find more meaning in his job. Meanwhile, the amount of autonomy employees enjoy will have an effect on their experienced responsibility towards work outcome. Feedback allows the individual gaining knowledge of the actual results of the work-related activities. The job characteristics model proposes the 5 possible work-related outcomes. They are internal work motivation, job satisfaction, performance quality, absenteeism, and turnover. Based on this model, 5 core job dimensions can affect these work outcomes by influencing employees' psychological states. According to the job characteristics model, growth needs strengths, that is GNS, moderates the relationship between core job characteristics and the psychological states. At the same time, it also moderates the relationship between the psychological states and the possible results. For example, a study suggested that when employees were other-oriented, concerned with the welfare of others at work, the relationship between intrinsic job characteristics and job satisfaction was weaker. When it comes to the effects of cultural factors, the results aren't consistent because the job characteristics model focuses more on the relationship between the employee and their work. The job enrichment strategies may not have the same effects in collectivistic cultures as in individualistic cultures. Application of the job characteristics model will enable the company to design jobs better and, in many cases, redesign existing jobs. We will look at some ways to put the job characteristics model into practice to make jobs more motivating. If employees suffer from over-routinization of their work, one alternative is job rotation. Job rotation is the periodic shifting of an employee from one task to another. It can add variety and challenge. There is a lower possibility of workers being bored of what they are doing since they will not be stuck with their job for years on end. The use of job rotation has been shown to increase job satisfaction and organizational commitment. Additionally, Job rotation reduces boredom, increases motivation, and helps employees understand how their work contributes to the organization. Job rotation does have drawbacks. Work that is done repeatedly may become habitual and routine, which makes decision-making more automatic and efficient, but less thoughtfully considered. Second, training costs increase when each rotation necessitates a round of training. Third, moving a worker into a new position reduces overall productivity for that role. Fourth, job rotation creates disruptions when members of the work group have to adjust the new employees. Finally, supervisors may have to spend more time answering questions and monitoring the work of recently rotated employees. While redesigning jobs based on job characteristics theory is likely to make work more intrinsically motivating, research is focusing on how to make jobs more intrinsically motivating to people. Relational job design provides managers another way to motivate employees. It shifts the spotlight from the employee to those whose lives are affected by the job. It also motivates individuals to increase their job performance. The job design model of Heckman and Oldham relates job characteristics to employee work motivation. Instead, Adam Grant relates job characteristics to prosocial motivation. In this view, jobs can be designed to do good by changing the relational job's characteristics. This implies that prosocial motivation is a dynamic state. Changes in relational characteristics will be reflected in changes in the degree of a prosocial motivation. Grant distinguishes between two types of relational job characteristics. Their job contact with benefit theories and job impact on benefit theories. First, job contact with benefit theories provides employees with the opportunity to interact and communicate with the people who benefit from their work. The increased job contacts fuel a prosocial motivation. A second relational job characteristic discerned by Grant is job impact on benefit theories. This perception that one's work has a positive impact on the lives and well-being of benefit theories makes employees feel that their work is significant and important. Until now, we have learned an important and widely accepted job characteristics model. This model identified 5 core job dimensions that promote 3 psychological states, which in turn have an effect on 5 work outcomes. In addition, we discussed the application of this model. In the next section, we will move on to alternative work arrangements. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next time.